pig, and I'm like, does she have a pet pig?
Good morning, everyone. We are here, Costalk Live. We were just dealing with the squeaky dog toy. But we are super excited. This episode, we will be talking about the Penti-Con, and we have some wonderful crew with us that's going to answer all of our exciting questions, how they got started, what plans they have this year, what plans they have in the future. Yeah, I guess we'll just get started with introductions, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start because I'm always the one that goes and does all the sharing. So, hi guys, sorry I look like a mess. If you didn't know, we had the Asian District Night Market Combined Festival last night, cosplay contest. It was so much fun. We can talk about it at the end of the show. And did I say I'm Jinx cosplay? I think I did. I've been cosplaying since 2001, and I'm based here in Phoenix, Arizona. Or Gilbert, Arizona now. Next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chibi Green Cloud. I am based on the Pacific Northwest side of the world. I'm just excited. These are some of my favorite humans, in the room. So I just talk to them, on a daily basis anyways. So this is a very special episode to me. I am also extremely tired, but I was not having a fun night, doing, events or watching anime all night. I just simply played Twisted Wonderland until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore because that game has my heart and soul. But I'm cosplaying Barnaby Brooks from Tiger and Bunny in honor of the new season that came out. So we got...
Which one's next? Me? Hey, I'm the odd one in the group. I am not a cool cosplayer like these magical unicorns. I am, however, a big fan of theirs, and it's my name is Lily. I'm one of the many beings that puts on the Penti-Con, and it is because of my mild obsession with creative people that I met the fantastic Sakura Elric, who's on one of these sides, and I'm going to yeet this over to her now.
Hi, I'm Sakura Elric. I've been cosplaying since 2008 and helping with the Penti-Con since it's started in 2017.
Our first year was 2017, but we started talking in 2016.
Really? It's been a long time.
I wrote it all down as a timeline.
Smart. I mostly work on the cosplay side of things for the Penti-Con as well as scheduling. So I can get a lot of my stuff done beforehand so I can kind of enjoy the con.
That's very smart, though. It's get everything done ahead of time, and then you can just go party.
Well, I like to cosplay.
Wait, what does that mean?
I don't actually remember Penti-Con weekends most of the time. It's just a lot of running around. So
that's how my last Phoenix Fan Fusion was. I didn't run it, but we ran a Cost Talk Live booth where we were streaming twice a day, and I was I did not see the floor at all. So it's I wasn't even I was running my own little thing within the con, and it was crazy. So,
but it was so cool to watch, honestly. I mean, considering it's the two busy Americans, and then they got the two Canadians here, so it's we're just evenly.
No, we love Canada. Actually, I have family in Toronto, and I used to go every couple of years before COVID, so it's been a while since we went. And it's funny because I have a whole system of family up there, and my cousin was like, "Hey, so I need help with cosplay," and my cousins are even older than me, and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, so and so's daughter wants to be a cosplayer," and I'm like, "Ah!" So I've been trying to figure out when I can go to Anime North so that I could visit family and cosplay. So we'll see. We'll see.
Both worlds.
Yeah. Right. It's if I can plan my trips around cosplay. Oh my god, my husband would kill me. But that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, that's what I'm doing. These lovely humans have allowed me to take a couple of extra days off so I can go and hang out and enjoy a vacation and then work on Penti-Con.
Yay!
So that's
awesome.
I am uber excited. No, this is I'm so excited for the Penti-Con because I had so much fun. I was a guest
2019.
Yeah.
2019 we were up here.
Was it 19?
That was our last year we ran.
Year. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. So it was a while ago. And I had so much fun, and it's so fun because Canadian cons are just slightly different than American cons from what I've experienced, but not in a bad way or anything. But it was such a fun experience, and I got to meet so many other people, and there was an idol group there. I ended up befriending and like hanging out and doing idol stuff with, which I'm not a singer by any mean. I mean, you could ask Jinx, we did karaoke.
Oh, you did great.
And so, but it was such a fun experience. And so like, I am just hyped about going. And so I'm excited to have you guys on. So how did it all begin? Go back to the beginning, 2016. You guys were talking about it?
So I actually had a friend of mine who attempted to run a convention in Kelowna in 2015 and it didn't work. And he ended up, but it planted a seed. And so a year later, I had put a post, I think, online. I think I'd gone to KFX and I'd met. It was so funny because I didn't know it was Sakura until years later when she had posted a photo of her cosplay. And I was like, oh my God, that was you. You were the inspiration because I was obsessed with her clock guitar or something she had made. And I was you were the one. It was stunning. And I didn't know it was her. And so I had put a post online just being like, hey, I want to see if something like this can happen in Penti-Con. Would anybody be willing to jump in and help or just to see? And so Sakura had come forward and said, hey, I'd love to do this. Could I do the cosplay side of it? And I was like, sure, absolutely. Because she was doing the stuff for KFX, essentially, I think. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
At that time, yeah, I did. I helped them for 2 years until they decided they didn't want help anymore. And I'm like, okay, your loss.
And I mean, we ended up having a bunch of meetings and we decided to do a single day event in 2017, just one day, just to see if the city of Penti-Con wanted something like this. And it was very simple. Sakura managed the cosplay side of it. And we had just a very simple cosplay competition. We had a small ballroom full of vendors. We had panels. And that was pretty much it. We had one guest that came up from the coast. We had Jorge Vargas that came up from the coast. And he brought his son, and he's a former Power Ranger from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. And it was very simple. Jorge's the sweetest thing on the planet. I love him. And we almost lost his son. He remembers that his son just ran off to a random beach. But essentially Sakura, I can't remember if you did a master's level, journeyman level, or anything like that first year. Did we?
It's been a while. I know, like, to put this in context, we only had like one panel room and a main stage, so like it was pretty small,
squishy.
But we ended up doing journeyman and novice levels, and for being like a first costume contest in Penti-Con, which for those of you outside here, so the Okanagan area is about 4-ish hours out of Vancouver to the east-ish.
Yeah. So
that's kind of area-wise that we're talking about. The Okanagan Valley, Penti-Con is in the south area of that. But I think we had maybe about 10 or 12 people. Most of them were novice, though. And we had one journeyman, I think. But it was interesting because, like, from KFX, I'd learned that the novice journeyman master thing didn't really work well in our area because most of the people are novice, very few journeymen at that time. So, like, the next couple of years, we tried that again to see, and it didn't really work well just because you have this huge novice category and like maybe 1 or 2 journeymen. That's not really great. So like this year we've split it into different categories, which I can.
You tried it last year. 2019 was the first year we did categories instead of like a tier kind of
that
thing.
Was actually my suggestion because I was asked to join the costume contest, and I have actually ran a couple of contests. I ran for JAMAF, which in my area was kind of a local smaller convention, and it was such a small event, and it was like a school event, so like we really didn't have anything. And so we're like, well, what if we did it in like, we have a very very strong makeup and like wig styling culture up here. And so we're like, well, what if we broke it into like makeup, wig, build, sewing? And that worked really, really well. And so like I've seen that for smaller conventions seems to work well. And so I kind of pitched the idea to Penti that one year I went, and I think it went really well.
That's a great idea. That like showcases, because I mean cosplay contests, we're like a jack of all trades. But obviously some people, you know, can focus more on a specific skill.
Well, and especially if you think of like when you go to a big event and they have journeyman, novice, masters, if you win a master's level, it's supposed to mean that you have this level of skill. So if you're a smaller city and you win a master's competition out of 7 people, it's not the same as winning one at a big convention. And so that was something that Sakura was concerned about, because she didn't want to give people an award if it meant that they were set off against their doom if they entered a bigger event, kind of thing. Being like, oh, I'm a master in my little town of 30,000 people. Like,
because like if it's only 1 or 2, but you've won that master's award, then you go to a larger convention, like example Sakura-Con or like Anime Revolution, and then suddenly your craft usually is like a lot lower than the other masters. So it personally, I think smaller cons doing the like normal system doesn't work well for setting people up for success in competing.
I mean, because that's really hard, because like I've had kind of the same kind of experience, because like my excel is in skits. I do skit competitions, and like the writing part is like where I'm good at, and I have a couple of awards from that. But the craftsmanship is where I'm like, even though I've been cosplaying for X amount of years and I do have awards, like none of them are actually in craftsmanship. And so though I don't have an award in craftsmanship, I'm still in the journeyman level because of my years of experience. But I've had some like talk of like, oh, well, wouldn't you be a master's? It's like, no, I have no experience in that part. Like I already like feel kind of out of water when I'm in the journeyman level, because I've never won anything for like build before. And so, yeah, I think it's really nice to break those categories up, because then one, people can focus. And if we have like some novices that don't have a sewing machine, but they're good at foam smithing, then we can really see them shine in these type of competitions.
And
I just want to mention, I know we mentioned some comments, but I want to go and say hi to Weeble Cakes, watching from
That's
YouTube.
my kid!
Hello, child!
Hello, my
Hi. Lagasp Chibi has a jellyfish stuffy thingy like me. Yeah. People you can relate to. Therma, of course, is watching. She was gonna join, and then I, commanded that she help me with the contest last night, and she was wearing a mask, so she was extra loud. And I think she's feeling the effects. I really appreciate the consideration. A lot of organizers don't realize the impact of awards. Yes, that's what. And so just to kind of like tie into what you do, Sakura, like I've been tasked with making contests around the valley for much smaller events. Of course, we're a huge city, but and I've encountered this a lot when I plan my contests, is people are like, I've never competed. I'm like, this is the contest for you, because we do a lot of tinier contests. We don't do tier levels, and we make it in there specifically. Like, if you're a professional, do not enter, like this is not for you. Not to shade, like, much more skilled, contest goers. But this is the point of our little contest, is to get people's feet wet. And I have gotten a lot of people that are like, this is my first contest. I'm like, great. Like, if you didn't win, that's fine. Like, keep going. And that's what we had last night, was a couple people are like, I've never entered before. I'm like, okay, then come enter. Like, we'll nourish you. We'll, walk you along, like, so you can get your experience. Because a lot of cosplayers, I'm a theater person. I'm an actor. Like, when I got into cosplay, I'd already known this stage. So for cosplayers that are none of that, but they want to compete, I can understand what a roadblock that is. So Thermo says, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, what you're talking about is that mentorship, that importance of having those events where you can learn safely without feeling completely crushed at the end. It's the most beautiful gift you can give someone, I think.
Yes, and that's what we kind of been doing. I didn't realize that that was what it was when I did the first one, but that's what it's become, and that's we're running with it. And Thermo says we started doing showmanship versus craftsmanship awards. Yes, and this is another thing that we do for smaller events to avoid impacting novice versus journeyman versus advanced versus masters. So we came up with this showcase category, which is like, just get on stage, like you bought your costume or you made it, but you don't want to be judged, but you still want to be on stage. Because I hear this a lot when I was running my first contest. I didn't make my costume, and I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, you know, it's like, I understand. Then we came up with showcase, which is like, you just want to get up and have fun, or you have something exciting to share, or you're great at making skits, instead of doing a whole skit contest, which sounds like a lot of pressure. So then we have people that just want to get up, just do something fun, or just show off their costume in front of an audience. And then we base it off of.
You got something like that for Penti, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because like where you are like regionally depends on what terminology you use. Because like in British Columbia and Alberta, we usually hear the word masquerade, which a cosplay masquerade is just going on stage with no craftsmanship judging and showing off for performance. But
that's
like a lot of bigger cons
also used in Washington is the masquerade version.
Yeah, but outside of this area, you hear cosplay masquerade used for the entire contest.
San Diego does that.
Yeah, which it's really
Yeah.
confusing and interesting. So like usually when I'm drafting rules and stuff, I like make sure like cosplay masquerade is an on-stage thing only, so people know what they're getting into, which I think is really important. Because like when I started competing in 2014, I got judged by Yaya Han, and that was probably about the worst way I could have started competing. Because
oh my gosh,
it was a high-profile contest. And there was a lot of competitors. So it wasn't great because you're starting to compare yourself to everyone else very easily because there's this huge bunch of competitors. So that's why, like, if I'm telling anybody to, like, who's interested in doing craftsmanship judging, that please start at a small con, because it can be super overwhelming. And like personally, I got to a point where I kept losing, and I'm like,
it's very discouraging.
I can't
Even
move anywhere. Like, there's no point in me continuing. So I almost quit competitively cosplaying because I was in the mindset of, if I don't win this next award, like there's no point in me keeping pushing myself. But luckily at that con, I did get a judge's choice. I'm like, oh, well, maybe my craftsmanship is, you know, better than I think it is. But I had started competing at Anime Revolution in Vancouver, and then SoccerCon in Seattle, Washington. So those are.
And now she wins everything.
No, I do not.
You do. No, we do. But I mean, like that's a really good story to like. A lot of people go into these big competitions with like no experience, and like bigger competitions, especially like SoccerCon, even KumoriCon nowadays, is really you got to kind of know what you're getting into, even at these semi like medium-sized conventions before you get into it. So like, yeah, small conventions are such a great way to get started. Even getting learning walking on stage, I think, is the part that a lot of cosplayers have the hardest bit with, because like they'll build something, they'll be proud to talk about their costume, they can talk to people about it, and then as soon as they have to walk across the stage, they lose so much of that energy and
blackout. Like exactly. I you know, it's even me, like people are like, how do you get on stage every single time? I still get nervous. You know, like last night I was like dealing with so much stuff. It rained, so we were dealing with so much stuff that by the time I got on stage, I'm like, oh my god, I haven't prepped myself. So I was like, blah. So it happens to everybody. So I know that for people that haven't had much experience, oh my god, like for me, as much experience I had, I started out really cold, and then I was able to, you know, gather myself very quickly. So I just want to mention more comments. See, I can't even. Yeah. So Sam says, I kind of lost my voice. Weeble Cake says, I'm the cosplayer of the family. Mom might not cosplay as much, but she makes a lot for me. And that is just as important as the cosplayer, right? My mom helped me make my cosplays in the beginning too. Roland Marquez. So Roland Marquez was in our contest last night. And we gave him an honorable mention. He was a Team Rocket grunt with this really cute Ghastly. And he had a bag of 151 Pokeballs. Or
Oh my God,
dedication.
that's so cute.
Yes. So I think that was your first time, Raul, you said as well. So he said, I was definitely nervous going on stage. It's not easy. And it's a huge crowd. I think there were like a couple thousand people at the festival last night.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're all just like, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of people. Like, of course, they're spread out through the festival, but when you're on that stage, you can see the whole festival. You're like, whoa. So Thermo says, yes, Masquerade is typically considered judges. Contests are mixed, so we always call ours a contest. That's why rules are so important. And I always bite my nails waiting for who judges are. Even when you're the judge, Sam. Matthew says, hi, friends. Matthew is becoming our official helper for CTL. So he was there helping, so helpful. Everything ran smooth. And Sam says, I'm considering LA's Comic-Con contest this year.
Do it, Sam. Do it.
So many comments, guys. You guys are chatty. Matthew says, I blacked out when I go on stage and don't turn back on until I'm walking off. Well, I hope you do, because like usually there's stairs.
Don't fall off the stage.
Yeah.
Please don't hurt yourself.
And Raul confirms that yes, it was his first. Weeble Cake says dedication. Yes, it takes a lot of dedication to this. And Anthony is watching.
I think she meant dedication to the 150 Pokeballs in a bag.
Oh yes,
well.
that
Like,
too. That is dedication. Cosplay is dedication.
Pokeballs?
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
What?
they were. And he had a laundry bag. And then his Ghastly was about this big. It was very cute. I'll post pictures as soon as I get them. So
Yeah, and I think let's move on. We've talked about the beginning and how things came to be and why you guys run some stuff. What are some other stuff that is exciting about this year now that you're finally back? Pandemic's kind of slowed down enough for it feels safe enough to do these kind of events. Like, what are some of the things you're most excited about, or some of the stuff you've worked like hardest about that you can share? Because we're getting real close to the event.
I think for me, honestly, I just was putting together a list of all the vendors so we could do vendor shout outs. That's something we've always done for Penti-Con, is we always list our vendors and we do special little come and buy the things. And honestly, looking at some of the vendors that we haven't seen for 2 years who have been with Penti-Con since 2017 gets a little weepy. And so the thought of seeing them, like that moment on the 21st when it's load in time and they start coming in, and it feels as if that moment's going to be surreal. And it's going to be beautiful because these people have supported us for years. And a lot of them show up early. They volunteer as well. A lot of our vendors are there until the very end to make sure that we have everything we need. And they have a horrible habit of giving us free stuff as well.
It's very sweet. Also, to put this in context, we never said what our dates were. So we are...
I was going to ask in the beginning and then I forgot.
That's okay. October 22nd and 23rd. Since 2018, we've been a 2-day event because the first year in 2017, our expectations are blown out of the water. And I believe we got at least double the people that we expected. So since then, we also moved venues. We're actually in a trade and convention center, which is absolutely wonderful. But yeah,
it's an amazing venue. And the thing is, the venue also bends over backwards to make sure that they support us.
Awesome.
The staff there. I did a trade show in May, I think it was. It was like some get to know your community again. And so we had a booth. And I had staff members coming up to me going, Lily, we've missed you. And I'm like, I don't remember your name, but you're the one who drives the Zamboni thing. I love your face. Like, hello.
Yeah, take me for a ride.
Actually, super angry at Kelowna Comic-Con. We were there. I was there at setup on the Friday from 10 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night from our friends because we love them. And I left and they put cosplayers on a Zamboni.
Yeah.
So they promised me at next year's event we get to ride a Zamboni. But yeah.
Oh, I would have loved that. So I'm gonna just cut in here because I'm gonna leave early because I've had some developments. So I invited a princess company and character company to the festival last night, and they had the owner had an accident, so they were trying to work around it, and they canceled today. So I'm gonna go in Moana. So I gotta go. I gotta go get ready in costume and walk around a festival. So guys, it was nice to meet you, viewers. It was great. I hope you guys learn more about Penti-Con and check it out.
I will
so
do my
have,
best to ask the questions.
yeah, I'm so sorry, TV.
You got this.
Yeah, but you're good. These guys are awesome. Just talk about the con, and then there's more comments. So you guys have a really chatty audience today. So
Literally, you get to go be Moana and see how far you'll go, kind of thing.
I know. Right? I'm gonna, yeah. Like, why did I volunteer this? But it's what I do. So,
and you need to post photos.
Yeah, please have fun. Go drink lots of water.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm drinking coffee. I should probably switch to water. Okay, bye guys. Have fun.
Bye. Bye, Jinx. Okay, so so vendors, that's super. Vendors are always super exciting. I mean, of course, the costume contest, I know Sakura and I are very excited about. What are some other things outside of those scopes, though, that like you really want to tell people about with the convention coming up? Like
the obscene. So when Sakura made, so she also does our scheduling, and when she made the schedule and sent it to us, I actually cried because it is in a happy way, because it is so full of content, and it's beautiful, and it's a wonderful mix. When we started Penti-Con, it was supposed to be a multi-genred event because we have, Sakura's got the anime side of thing mostly covered. I love anime, but not to the level of YouTube. But I know my way around like sci-fi better than Sakura would. And then, we have other members who know their way around fantasy better than we do. So the point of the event has always been to have a little bit something for everyone. So I was actually really impressed with the schedule because we've got a mix of everything on there, from horror to anime to you name it. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and we always do fan panels as well. And this was actually the first year I could not approve everyone's submissions. Like we also added an extra panel room this year because we usually have a main stage and 2 panel rooms. We have a main stage and 3 panel rooms. So it really goes to show, like, one, how amazing our con community is with wanting to like share their knowledge and share things they're passionate about. And also probably people are stir crazy because cons haven't happened for 2 years.
Fair.
But it's just really wonderful to see that with taking a risk with getting like more panel rooms, that it was a good decision because people obviously want to do stuff, which is great.
And they're full. And so the Penticton Arts Council is a big supporter of ours. Shout out to the Penticton Arts Council. They ended up putting a call out for artists, and they built a Penti-Con coloring book. And so the artists actually got paid to put their art into the book because we really believe in artists being they're worth something. So they're doing a coloring book, but they're also sponsored. We've got an art battle happening. There's going to be rock painting and a whole bunch of fun arts and crafts. Like Penti-Con's very much a hands-on event, and I think that's where we separate ourselves from a bunch of, from other Comic-Con style things, because you come to us and you have, whether it's you've got cosplay happening, you got the talent show, lip sync battle, but you can also sit down and learn how to do chainmail. You can sit down and make a perler bead little keychain. You can sit down and do some coloring or take part in a workshop, or there's always something to do, just because there's no boredom allowed, right? We got that.
No, we have. I really think that's something that really set Penti aside for me, is how vast it is. And like, yes, I'm very much part of like the cosplay part of this community, but like even at KCC, I helped do some stacking for them while I was there. And
Comic-Con, for the record.
Comic-Con. We had like a little coloring station, and there was already things happening that I wasn't expecting our sweet little booth was going to be doing. And like, that's just a testament of like, when you get there's just constantly so much to do. If you're a writer, there's something to do. If you're a reader, there's something to do. If you're a gamer, there's something to do. I know there's going to be some really fun Pokemon stuff that I'm stoked for. And
I need a Switch.
Yes. You very much do.
And like, there's D&D stuff and also other board game stuff. Like, it is such a wide range of just bringing the community together.
Yeah, there's an obscene amount of D&D stuff happening, actually. Yes. Sakura got together with someone, and I know, Chibi, you're doing stuff as well. But oh my gosh.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, we have...
He built a dedicated D&D space, people.
Yes, yeah, we have 3 technically workshop spaces. One of them is rotating for pretty much anything. And we have like board games, cape making
Comic stuff.
class.
We've got
My
a comic
brain's-
class.
Comic stuff. I know the D&D stuff, it switches from like different board games, different like character creation.
No, so we've got
three
times.
rotating spaces.
Yeah. So the board
there's
games happen in the atrium,
Yep.
which is where we've got there. The D&D space. So Sakura was chatting with this amazing person we met at Kelowna Comic Con accidentally, and they planned a D&D space beside a dice vendor's table.
Yeah, so they're running stuff all weekend, which is wonderful. And then on the other side of the dealer's hall, we have the Penticton Arts Council with their art space.
Yeah.
So it's we're trying to make things as interactive as we can. And then we also have a quiet room that's just going to have some tables and chairs for people that just want to chill. If they're getting like sensory overload, they can just go there and have a moment with minimal noise. Because this year we also have our stage in the atrium, which is new for us. So we're going to see how that goes. It's going to be an adventure, and I'm excited.
It's fun. But we have fantastic sponsors through Wentworth Music who are sponsoring our stages and all of the mic setup and everything. So thankfully, we will have a smaller speaker setup to make sure that it's not too overstimulating for people, and we can still get stuff done because it's gonna be interesting, but good.
It's so sweet. You guys are so conscious about like sensory overloading and trying to make this place safe for all ages and all types of people. I'm going to continue with some of our chat going on over here. So Anthony, hi. He was asking about Overwatch 2. I'm a terrible, filthy casual and only play like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, so no.
I saw Overwatch 2 advertised on my Xbox and went,
Right? Weebles, I can't wait. I always get something from someone during the con, and this year I get to do helpful things. Usually I only get to walk around and exist. So that's exciting. Always need more help, right? And Sam says that's so cool, and Weeble is...
What is she saying? I have no clue.
I don't know.
Yuriko, I don't know the character. I apologize.
But I
got her issues and obsessions.
But that's so exciting. And like, do you guys mind if I ask you some like the process of like how this all comes together? Because I know you're very like community driven. So a lot of these spaces you said kind of was an accident that we were having like this D&D space. Like, is this just kind of you're just gathering people that you meet and it just kind of seems to be working out just fine?
We absorb the beans.
Pretty much. I mean, like Lily and I met in a Facebook group, literally, and like that happens a lot more with like other people because we also have a Discord. You can join our Discord.
I can
share. Like I've gotten in contact with I'm so bad
Merwin?
Yeah. I'm so bad at pronouncing their name. I'm sorry. But they're our D&D human. And like originally we're like, oh, let's try and plan a few things in the original workshop space in the atrium. But then they're like, I could run things all day. And I'm like, well, I can't really put you out there all day because we have other things. And I'm like, do we have space in the vendors hall? Because I also did the vendors hall layout this year. And we were able to find space for, I think it's 12 seats. So it's small, but there's always something going on there. And also speaking of like the workshop spaces and stuff, because we're still we don't really know what's happening with COVID and stuff. We've made sure that like our seats are distanced for people. So if they do have issues with being close to people still, there's the ability to still socially distance, and all of our chairs in the panel rooms and the main stage are also distant. So we're trying to make things as safe as possible. And then with our panel rooms, we're closing things for half an hour. So people like between each panel, so people can have time to 1, set up and stuff, and 2, like make sure the room's clear and safe before the next person comes in. So
I think that's really appreciated, especially with like vendor halls. One of my like biggest beefs with a lot of big cons is like there's just not enough space. Like you can't just walking through a vendor hall, even Artist Alley is always such a pain because there's just not enough space. So like yes, it's for social distancing and safety, but also I'm like, oh, that sounds lovely because there's gonna be space.
Well,
like
I think COVID definitely anyone who's gone, like COVID definitely changed the way we look at like con crud, the way we look at events. And I've been saying this for the past little bit that it's still cold and flu season. And the reality is you never ever used to go to a convention and be surrounded by all these people and not come home with something normally. It was amazing if it missed you. And so I think our attitudes towards germs are just passing things along, or our acceptance of it has changed. And so I mean, the reality is we can't micromanage people, so they're going to gather where they gather. We're not going to slap someone if they stand too close or if they sit down at a spot, and it's just for a moment. But the reality is that being elbow to elbow is never healthy. Exactly. So Raul's got it. Elbow to elbow is, when you're walking through the vendor space, if you stop to talk to a vendor, you're impeding sales, or you're in the way of someone, or you'll end up like smashing someone. So like we want to make our vendors comfortable, and we've always been that way. Like the original group that started the Penti-Con has shifted a little bit, but when we're an official nonprofit, and we became an official nonprofit in 2017. Yes, no, 2018, February 2018. Yeah. And when we did, we had to make a board. So we had to make like chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary. And so it locked in certain people. And then we have our members at large. But it's been the same core humans that sort of essentially get the gears going, and then we have others that come in and that are just constant. So we have like Jason, who is constantly doing gaming. We have Michelle, who runs our talent show, and we'd be lost without her because she also does lip sync battle, but they're involved as much as they want to be. And then there's others who do the planning. But like it happened with Merwin, you meet someone who says, I would love to volunteer and be a part of this. And so essentially we're like, sure, let's do the thing. So you have to have like a good core group of people who want to do the thing. Mm-hmm. It's not just because you have to do the thing.
It's organized chaos.
Exactly. And so we have our core board. The board does a lot of the behind the scenes little details, but then we have to rely on others to do the bigger details. Like we wouldn't be able to run this with just 3 of us.
Oh God, no.
Completely. I mean, we do a lot of the planning with just like 3 or 4 of us, but the bigger thing needs so much more.
Mm-hmm. Like an example of that, this is the first year we're doing a card tournament. There's a local game shop called Orchard City Games, and for Sunday Hour Convention, they are taking over one of the larger rooms and running Magic the Gathering tournaments all day, which is really exciting because we've never had such dedicated card game people before, so it's like super exciting. Yes,
we saw it
coming. They made our hearts sing. Yes, Tiger's Buddy Forever.
Actually, that's not true. It's the first year of Penti-Con 2017. We did do our weekend was the same weekend as a game release, and we did do really well with Magic, and so we have a huge Magic nerd group in the Okanagan. But that was just the first year. It was a smaller one. This is our first time having this level of tournament. Mm-hmm. It's just intense.
That's super cool though, and like it just brings another like group of nerds, kind of just squishes them into the equation, which I think is great because most of the people I meet at game shops are also people that go to conventions that I know. So like the same crew, like I know most of my friends that I've met at Emerald City, I now know from like game shops in my local area and stuff. So,
but Sakura, you had a point to what you were saying. You have to finish. I interjected. I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
You were talking about different types of people coming together and what we do and having different, I think, was it along the same lines of different opinions and people's? And...
Yes, thank you. I think where I was going with that was like the board. Words are hard
finding
today.
The word.
I'm sorry.
We're still kind of working on like our first and second set of caffeine. So
yes. No, but basically like things like that tournament wouldn't be possible without the help of, in this case, Jason or like the talent stuff, Michelle, like that's something completely out of my comfort zone that I never would want to deal with. But she's been so amazing at just running it and doing prizes herself, which is such a godsend, less I have to worry about. And like it's just really wonderful.
I think this convention really just goes to show how much the community wants this kind of thing. Because in Washington, we have a couple of like medium cons, but we only have like one or two smaller ones. And then I would love to see like more smaller events like become more aware or come up, just because
start one.
Don't give me ideas. I'm already busy with Penti-Con. But basically, like, it's very interesting because I've seen so many people could like come and bring this community life. And so like I've also been talking with Merwin because like we're both the D&D nerds, and like as we were just talking in the Discord, somebody was like, hey, what if there's like, is there a space to do gaming stuff? And then it just kind of like, okay, now we got a Switch section that we're gonna just talk about gaming and like video games.
Yes, actually, speaking of, we mentioned the Pokemon thing earlier, but what that is you bring your Switch and Pokemon Sword and or Shield, and we have roaming gym leaders around that are identified by their respective badges, which are all custom designed by our lovely human Michelle and her husband. And it's basically collect all the badges like you would in a Pokemon game. Like it's... I'm excited for that, and it's just amazing like what brain children come from these amazing humans we've met throughout the years.
And the funny thing is, so Michelle and her husband, I've known Michelle. I think I graduated or went to school the year ahead of her older brother. And Michelle and I were talking, and she had been involved with all the planning from the beginning. She's been a member. And she said to me one night, she went to bed, she goes, okay, and Tim says goodnight. And I went, who's Tim? And then I clued in with her last name that she was married to my brother's best friend. And I was like, holy cow, wait a minute, hold on a second. And I clued in. And so Michelle has been someone who, oh, she's right there. See, there she goes. Michelle's amazing. And so her husband, they have been the constant show up to a meeting, show up to this. And at the same time, I've known them forever. And so like the community of people that, whether we've known them for years or minutes, like it is insane. These people are just the heart and soul of what we do. And it's why I think we're so much like, Shelby came up with some amazing ideas when it comes to Sakura. I'm sorry. Bad Lily. Can we? No, we can't edit that. It's live. I'm just going to go hide it.
Keep going.
Sakura. Anyways, Sakura came up with something that just blew my mind, where she started talking about like mentoring younger cosplayers. And this is what we do. We mentor people. And so we mentor like young vendors, and we look at young cosplayers, and now we've got young artists, and like we bring in, like the talent show brings in young talent. Like we're an event that just builds people up constantly. It's what we do. And it just kind of, it doesn't matter who we talk to or which one of us ends up building or bringing someone in. It's someone who's obvious. We get a vibe from them, and it's like-minded. I feel you.
And that's why, like with the costume contest, I really want to make it accessible for people and not daunting. Yes, we have AK Weiroo judging, but still should not be daunting.
He's so funny.
Honestly, though, like as somebody who's been judged with him and worked with him, like he is the sweetest and like the best judge I've ever had judge me before. Like I've had some rough judging as well. A bad judging when you're doing costume contests can really push you away from that type of cosplay, which I understand that like cosplay contests aren't for everyone, but it is a fun experience to have if you're into the crafting side. And I've had a couple of bad ones, but Weiroo has to be the best one I've ever had. It was so professional and so sweet, and it was so like, even though he's honestly one of the most intimidating humans I've ever met, he was just so good at like making me feel calm and asking the right questions and really like just driving, okay, well, what about this piece that I almost forgot to talk about? And and that's so great, which is why we really wanted him.
But he doesn't seem to know that he's so famously, adorably popular. Like the fact that that video of him at there's an entire realm of people who do the end of day con, scream, rip off the cosplay, jump into the shower, cry into bed kind of thing. Like he started that. But he doesn't seem to do that. He's just like, oh no, it's fine. Don't worship me. God.
No, he's so chill. And I'm gonna do some comments here because like Airy Owl was yes, Tiger and Bunnies. I'm hoping that you're just as excited over the new season as we are. Weeble's goodness, Magic and Gatherings, Magic the Gathering. So many people at my school are a fan of that. Michelle, Small World sounds right. Apparently the Twitch stream is doing better for ours than YouTube. Sam said, Sam made a mistake, but Sam says monitoring people or mentoring people is so necessary. A lot of cons have forgotten that there are newer artists, newer exhibitors, newer MCs, newer cosplayers that want to exceed, but they don't know where to even begin.
Yeah. And I think that's part of our job as a smaller event is we're like the step up to doing things, and it's a safe space to do it in. It's just and I mean, I trust everyone who has built Penti-Con, like you guys, I would trust you around any of our attendees in a heartbeat. The words that come out of your mouth, exactly, I don't have to question a thing. Like if you guys are around people, I know that they genuinely care about most of them. Like the interactions are just fine. We've never had any issues with that.
No.
And I mean, like, but that's like, it's so important to create a safe community to grow. And like, I know only gentle peer pressure, but me and Sakura have been like, you should join the costume contest. And we've pressured probably a good handful of people in our community to join the costume contest.
Are you kidding? Our secretary was full on yelling at people at Kelowna Comic-Con. You are amazing. You need to enter the costume contest now.
But like that's because we really do have confidence in how like this is a really good beginning stage. Because so many people are like, well, I want to, but like I don't think I'm good enough, or I don't think I'm ready, or I don't know if it's a good idea, and oh, I'm so anxious about it. It's like all of these things, like this is the perfect place if you want to dip your toes in the water, because we understand how anxious you are, and like it's a small enough group that it's going to be very homey feeling. So if we do have Canadians watching and you haven't entered yet, you have to enter the costume contest.
We accept Americans too. We are not judgmental.
Well, yeah, I mean, I assume I'm going to be one of the few Americans there, but yes, you're pretty far.
Well, you and our voice acting guests, because we're flying.
Oh, true. Yeah, the other guest is an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's why the masquerade category is so important, because people might want to take part, but like said before, they didn't make their costume, or they just want to dip their toes in the water without the pressure, and they just want to show off. So that's something that's always been really important to me to have for that reason.
No, and I agree. And like, here's a secret: big cosplayers don't make all of their costumes.
I was amazed to see them wearing just store-bought, or not store-bought, but like online bought stuff.
Weeru, Yaya, Kamui, like we have one or two big builds that yes, we focus on. And then after that, we're like, okay, we're good. Like I have one full build that I have coming with me for Penti-Con. And then my other build actually is practically a commission from Sakura, who built it for me. So I'm very happy because I have a build that I didn't have to do anything for, and it's very comfortable.
And it's really cute.
And it's very cute. So like seriously, that's why the masquerade, like we're really pushing it. Like even if you didn't,
that's the one with the green wig, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Leo from Promare.
Yeah, my femme Leo. I love it so much. It's so freaking comfortable.
I dream of that wig color. Sakura did.
I someday want my hair to be that color. Like I'm striving so close. I'm actually going to go dye my hair green after this.
Yay.
And so one of our last comments is a rule. I always seek advice, mentors or tips, because I'm very new, beginner and amateur cosplayer, and like, but that's where you grow. Like it's never ever stop asking questions. I still ask questions. I've been cosplaying since 2009, but I've never once stopped asking questions. Whenever I get stuck and I'm crying over fabric, I usually just message Sakura and I'm like, what do I do? Or just like reach out to a group chat. You can always find groups on YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook, Discord. I guess YouTube's getting a little better community, but you can always like reach out to people and never be scared to do that, because even professionals are learning every day. I don't know how many times I've judged somebody and they tell me how they do a piece and I'm like, my mind is blown and I'm doing that next time. Like, you can always learn more things. And we are getting near the end. This is our last 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, exciting things, want to know what's going to happen at the con, you have a very specific question, or you want to ask these humans anything, even if it's about competitions, Penti, anything.
How to start your own events and be amazing? Come on.
You might have to have an episode later that's
You might have to find your own. So literally, it's like you have a cauldron, like a witch's cauldron, and you need to go find an amazing cosplayer like Sakura and be like, hey, will you be my muse? And then go find another games master, and you go find another vendor.
Exactly.
That's all about.
Okay, no, that's awesome. So yeah, we got some more comments. I'm so excited to see everything and be in the world of Penti-Con once again. Always feels like it's kind of an awesome dream. I mean, that's just conventions, right? Sam, I keep getting called a pro cosplayer, but I don't make any money off of it, and I treat it as a hobby. Lol. I love helping.
Don't make any money off of it yet.
Sam, we're working hard. And then random question, favorite random thing in your background. It's not related, but I must know. Like, what's my favorite random thing? That's a cruel question. Same with Sakura. Like, we have so much going on compared to Lily.
Oh, no, see, I'm like, we hid everything because my house is the toddler's house. So I'm like, I just got to reach over and I'm like, random background. I will grab a baby alien.
Creepy alien. Gosh, I don't know.
I mean, I personally am loving, like, Sakura, is that your guitar over there, the first one I ever saw you with?
Yes. Yeah, that one, and I don't think you can see the other one. My show I rock guitars. Honestly, though, okay, favorite, like, useful thing, my sewing machine, my FAF is amazing. It is right here. Like, favorite not useful item that I just love is probably, honestly, my guitars, because I hang them up on my wall and I love them. I don't do a lot of prop work too, so I'm like, this is good. I love it.
I'm sorry. The person who does not make a lot of props, you do make some amazing things. Like, I would count your boots as a prop because they sparkle, or any capes, or anything. Like, when you make something,
but that's
you go
like,
all out.
That's still fabric work, and I am certainly more comfortable with fabric. So, I mean, and bling, but like, boots are still clothing items and they're essential to the costume.
They prop you up though.
The guitar and stuff, that was nice, but not necessary.
See, this is my favorite corner. Like, this is my inspiration corner. So everything that I love is in this corner. So like, I can't really make a decision because my dice are over here. This is my D&D space. So I have my dice, which is very important to me.
Keychains, all the things.
Keychains, yeah, no, all of these. So I don't know if I've ever said, so this wall has changed a lot. And I decided that I wanted to make this wall my, like, inspiration board. And so all of the keychains you see are cosplays that I've done before, that I've gotten specifically at cons wearing that particular costume, or they're ones that I plan on doing in the future. So this is kind of like my specialty space, where it's like, whenever I need to take a breather and like remind myself why I cosplay, I can just like turn around and go, this is why I cosplay. So I have a lot of stuff. Like, I actually have Tiger and Bunny on the board because these guys have actually been on my to-do list since first season, basically. I've been wanting to do Bunny. And then I have like Deedlit and Holo and Chisei and many different Harus. And I have Rom and I have Leo. Like, it's literally my, like, these are the things I love most board. So like, I'm sorry, I can't give you an answer. I love everything in this corner.
We do plan on doing like proper Tiger and Bunny cosplays.
Yes,
these were very thrown together because I was excited about season 2.
You guys look amazing, and Sam, I love the fact you have wall LEDs. Like, really, That's just beautiful.
Yeah, in chat, Sam says her favorite useful thing is metal ruler, and non-useful thing is my wall LEDs. And Rose
I would
says,
argue that LEDs are useful.
I feel like I make a lot of props. I have a lot of closet props. Yeah, that's fair. If you can buy it, that's closet of props. I can't read worth a darn today. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Somebody was up very late watching anime.
I was watching Tiger and Bunny, and I still
You
didn't
were,
finish.
up watching Tiger and Bunny all night. I guess most useful thing I have in this corner would probably just be a notebook. A lot of my D&D notes is notebook. A lot of my sewing starts with a notebook. So yeah, my useful piece is a notebook.
That's a notebook.
It's so
from one of our vendors.
That's amazing.
It's one of Ashy's, so.
I also have something of Ashy's on my so
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Which it's honestly, shout out to the amazing Ashy, who was one of our first ever vendors. And I think it was she was free for the first 2 years because she was just starting out.
Does
and then
she have
argued with me
store?
in 2019.
Does Ashy have a store?
She does. I have her link because I was building our vendor link.
Really?
And she just made some amazing Sailor Moon pins that will be mine.
She's like I have money set aside for when I get to Penti-Con to buy things from this human. Like
it is literally, she is a growth. Like when you look at Penti-Con on the scale of our growth, it's like watching our vendors who have also they started vending at Penti-Con and now have these giant stores.
That's so and if you're interested in finding her, you can probably just Google Ethereal Ashy and she will come up. She's an awesome bean. She also cosplays. Most recently, she did some Genshin cosplays that look really awesome. And I'm excited to see her at Penti. I'm excited to see like everyone at Penti. Like this is the first year like I've been really involved with the Discord, and like Chibi manages our Discord and has made it like this really amazing organized space, and like it's really interesting because it's like you're building this community before and after the con, and it doesn't really necessarily feel like it's over when the weekend's over, because you can still connect with people on Discord, and like it's easier than social media like Facebook and stuff because like it's dedicated to the convention, so you met these people at the convention kind of thing. It's really nice, and I love our con immunity.
This is like the first time I've had that, and like I'm really curious. I'm a really sciencey geek, so I'm really curious to see how I feel afterwards, to see if I have like the con depression like after Penti. Like I know I'll have probably a little one because I'll be sad to leave Canada, but like I'll have the community, and this is something I've never had after a con before, that we have like a dedicated space for people who go to this thing to be involved with. And so I'm really excited to see the experiment of like how I feel having that like bleed into.
You definitely go down off the high.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fine because I have a crutch. Like I'm gonna play with my Discord.
We'll do Christmas stuff.
Exactly. And so, and like that's what's been really just fascinating that I find different from Penti, because I've worked at other conventions before, but I've never had a convention that is so community driven and everybody is so involved, and we're getting so many great ideas from so many outside sources. It's not just the staff up at the top trying to make ideas. It's, oh, she had a great idea. Oh, he had a great idea. Oh, they had a great idea. And it's all coming together so well. And so continuing with comments, Sam's like,
we are. Yes, Sam.
Yes, Sam will be joining me next year if I don't mess up and make a terrible face of Cost Talk Live at Penti-Con this year. We will definitely be there next year.
And I think it's something. What you said is, it's that feeling of community that's so important, or as we call it, our community. But it really is only possible because the people who put it on are such they're the most genuinely fantastic beings. And I'm not talking about myself, obviously. I'm just talking about them. But
you are fantastic too.
We try when I get the names right. But the biggest thing is we have had our ups and downs. We have had moments where we did not like each other. We have had moments where we have argued. We have had moments where we have been like, I need to take a break. And the reality is that no matter what moment has come, we've always been able to say, okay, let me see this from another angle. Let's take a moment. And I think that having that ability to continually grow and that relationship, it's given us a value to each other that is different than just if we ran it once a year. I think we see value in each other constantly, and we see value in our community constantly.
Mhm.
And it's beautiful.
And it also, building on that, helps that, like, I didn't really know you or Sam, Penti Sam, not
Yep. Different Sam. Yeah.
Beforehand, but like, especially this year, like, I feel like I've really gotten to know you guys more as friends and on a more personal level, which I think has really helped. And it's been like really wonderful. And again, goes to that whole building community. Like, we're not just running an event, we are friends creating an event that we want people to go and enjoy and share our love of our nerdy things with. That's why we do it. It's like, by fans for fans. It's great.
Yep. That was our motto, I think, originally as well.
By fans for fans. I mean, and that's so wonderful, because like, I love my big conventions. I go to a bunch of them, but the thing that I miss most from those conventions that you don't see anymore is the community. And I had a really long conversation about this with our last guest, Chaotic Neutral. We talked about how, like, it just, there's a difference now within conventions and stuff that kind of got lost in translation as it got more popular and things got bigger and more rules got in place. And so I think these small conventions are kind of the heartbeat of us fans that are like, hey, we grew up with these things. We're missing these things that we're not seeing anymore. Let's just make the thing.
Mhm.
And that's why I think it works so well.
I love it.
Yeah,
Oh, my
so
daughter.
we made it to 1 o'clock.
No!
So that is, I know, it went so fast. But I mean, if people are curious for an episode about like community making and convention building and stuff, we can always have some people on again, because these lovely humans are good friends of Cross Talk Live. So we can always maybe schedule an episode. Let us know.
After UwuCon, I want to know how that goes.
Yes, I'll talk about that a little bit. So yeah, if you have any questions about the con or anything, you can join Discord or check out the website. You can always jump in and ask them questions. You can always come to Cost Talk Live. I should probably share that because I'm a person that's supposed to be doing that. But let's just do our outros real quick. Lily, if there's anything you want to, last minute words, if any social media we can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter half the time. I'm pretty sure they're most of the time LilyBean84. Follow the Penti-Con. Come and say hello. You don't have to be in the same country to still come and hang out with us when we do various events. And all my love to you two. Honestly, you're two of my favorite people on the planet. And I'm slowly, like, I just adore you guys. You put up with me so well.
We love you. And like, thank you, Chibi, for having us on Cost Talk Live. This has been absolutely amazing. And if anybody watching wants to get to know who's coming to the Penti-Con a little bit more, you can visit the Retrologists on Twitch.
Oh, right.
They are doing some pre-convention streams for us, which is super exciting. So they're introducing guests and talking to them and getting everybody hyped for the convention, which is super exciting.
And go join them play Mario Kart today at 4 o'clock.
Yes! You will see me there! I'm going to kick some butt, hopefully, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I'm Soccer Ellerick. Thanks for having us. You can find me on YouTube,
Stop it.
Instagram, and newly Twitch, but I haven't streamed anything yet. Yeah, this has been super wonderful, and thank you, Chibi, and the rest of Cost Talk Live.
They're fantastic. I have minor like obsession. I have a horrible like entire category of my life dedicated to obsessing over cosplayers.
It's great. It's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon / morning.
I'm looking as quickly as possible to try to share things. I will share your links in a moment.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for showing up. Sorry it was pretty much just me this episode. We've had just a really busy month. If you guys didn't know, Thermo Cosplay and Jinx have been up to crazy shenanigans. They've been doing conventions and small events and stuff almost nonstop, I think. And I think Thermo actually has a couple more events. So we have been nonstop with outside of the internet, but you'll be seeing us, of course, real soon. The cool thing that I wish everybody was here to announce is we will be guests at Uwu. So you'll get to see me with the other Crosstalk Live members at Uwu. I get to finally spend some time with these humans in person. I'm so excited. So I'm going to be in Arizona for a good part of a week. I'm really excited. This will be my first time there as an adult and actually knowing what I'm doing. So if you guys have any food suggestions or places to go or anything in the Arizona area, let me know. Put them in the comments because I would really like to know. I'm super excited to go to Arizona for the first time. But yeah, so see us at Uwu. That's so exciting. That is the weekend of Halloween. So the weekend after Penti, that will be the 28th through the 30th.
It's gonna be a busy flying jet lag.
I go from Penti, like I go home for like 12 hours and then I just fly out to Arizona. Like it's gonna be crazy. But that's why we have a whole team here at Cost Talk. So you'll still see content from us as much as humanly possible. I shared our links in all of our chats, so go check out our website if you have any other questions. You can find me on chibi_raincloud on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all those good things. But thank you so much for coming. That is a wrap for our episodes, and everyone have a great afternoon.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.